Welcome. Welcome to another video in celebration of Workplace Readiness Week. Today we're going to talk about work after high school. This chart is a representation of the median weekly earnings based on education level. So this chart does not show you all the different jobs you could work with these different degrees and all the different salaries that come with those jobs. Generally speaking, you'll see the trend as you attain a higher level of education, you will see an increase in your median weekly earnings. In the next few slides, we will look at some of the jobs you can earn or work at every single of these degree levels and the average wage associated with those jobs. This chart was pulled from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, where they keep all the data on educational levels and also the statistics around the pay associated with those levels. So first, let's go over the jobs that you can have right out of high school. So with a high school degree, you can work as a delivery driver, which pays about $18.80 per hour, a equipment operator, which pays about $20.36 per hour, a flight attendant, which is $28.72 per hour, and a mail carrier, which is about $17.26 per hour. Retail sales associates, they earn about $17.86 per hour, and a waiter earns about $15.52 cents per hour. But in the state of California, this again is a nationwide average. For the state of California, minimum wage for a waiter is $16 per hour as of 2024. So this list of jobs and their earnings was pulled from Indeed. These hourly wages might differ from state to state, so you might want to check your individual area for how much these jobs pay. But right out of high school, you can work any one of these jobs. There is different growth ability in each of these careers, so keep that in mind as well. For flight attendants, they are only paid for hours in the air, so that's something to consider. They're actually not paid for hours spent traveling to the airport and checking in through security. Many waiters also rely on tips to supplement their salaries. So don't forget that if you're a waiter at a fine dining establishment, you actually might get higher wages, but there's also a hierarchy of waiters. So you might have to work your way up in order to be able to work at a fine dining area or establishment. So just keep that in mind. All of these jobs, it shows you a varying degree of how much you can make right after high school, but then it doesn't account for how much you potentially could make. And for each job, there are different things to take into consideration as well. Some other job examples include you can be a barista, you can be a housekeeper, a nanny, a custodian, a telemarketer, you could be a security guard or a florist or a shuttle driver, a landscaper, a dog walker with a high school degree. Some benefits of additional training in education. So employees who seek additional training or certification or higher education will often experience a greater income potential. They'll also experience greater career advancement, and they will also see increased networking opportunities. So just remember that everyone's situation is different. So higher education does not always mean higher pay, but also higher education might not be for everyone. So there's a lot of factors to take into consideration, but generally speaking, additional training does usually mean greater potential in your career. So let's look at the next level of training, which is apprenticeships. So this is on-the-job training with pay. Apprenticeships, right out of high school, you can actually work as an apprentice. And the definition for an apprentice is a person who learns an art, trade, or job from a skilled employer. Apprenticeships are often paid, so you work for the person you're training under. And you will usually, when you're training, you usually are paid at a lower wage rate while you're learning that craft. So because you're still a novice, you might not be as good as your employer, so you're still learning, so you're not getting paid as highly as you can. But after you have learned the skill, your wages will increase. So as you train more, your wages will also increase. So some of these examples for apprenticeships include animal care, an auto mechanic, business administration, costuming, electricians, hairstylists. All of these jobs require apprenticeships, so you do get training on the job. And as you get trained, you do see an increase in your salary. Some other examples include construction work, manufacturing, education, journalism, veterinary technicians, dental hygienists, event promoters, carpenters, elevator inspectors, plumbers. You'll see a lot of apprenticeships for different careers. So again, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you can actually pull a table that shows you the greatest number of active apprenticeships. So if you are interested in apprenticeships, definitely follow your passion. But you can also see which apprenticeships are most common, and so which apprenticeships are easier to find versus others, because there just are more of them. And you can also see the median annual wage for those apprenticeships as well. So here you see that one of the lower paying ones is a construction laborer. However, there are very many opportunities in construction. But if you're working in electrical power lines, so maybe you're installing those power lines and you might be asked to go from state to state to install those power lines, your median average wage, you can see that it's a little bit higher. It's at $68,000. So it's really great if you want to have more information about the different types of apprenticeships and what they mean in terms of wage increases. So if you are interested in finding an apprenticeship program, you can actually go on to the Department of Industrial Relations apprenticeship search. You can search all of these programs in California. You can search by county and occupation group, and then you can find one that is right for you. So certification. Certification are jobs that require a certificate before you start. So for example, air traffic controllers, they make about $53,000 a year. They need a certificate. HVAC technicians need a certificate as well. This starts, the average salary is about $50,000. Insurance salesmen also need a certification. That's average salary is about $58,000. Paramedics also need certification. Need to be EMT certified. So they see a salary of about 43 or almost 44,000 a year. Paralegals, so you're working for lawyers, you're researching, you're reading a lot of law and legal documents. You only need a certificate for this job, and it pays about 59,000 a year. And then real estate agents, depending on the market, depending on the houses you're selling, you could be making around 94,000 or 95,000 a year. So some other examples include a commercial pilot, heavy vehicle mechanic, wind turbine technician, solar panel installer. So there's a lot of different jobs out there that require a certificate. So how do you get a certificate? You would actually need to take some coursework. So you would need some courses to earn that certificate. You would study and make sure you understand the material, and then you'll need to pass a certification exam. Some careers do have different levels of certifications, so you might pass the most basic one, but there might be other certificate and license exams that you might need to pass in order to move up and earn a higher income in that field. So there are a wide range of certifications available, and each job will have different levels, different training, different education, and different wages, different number of exams you need to take as well. So definitely look into what you're interested in and then do some research whether you need to sit for exams and get a license or certificate. All right, so next up is college degrees. So these jobs require associate's or bachelor's degrees. So there is a difference between those two degrees. An associate degree is an academic degree offered by a junior community or technical college and usually requires about 2 years of study. A bachelor degree is usually an academic degree offered by a 4-year college or university and usually requires 4 years of study. So some clarification on the terms used here. Junior college usually just means community college. Technical colleges actually refers to education centers focused on a particular industry and offers very specific training for that job. College means that there is a focused undergraduate degree. If you see university, it means that that university actually provides a range of degrees, undergraduate, graduate, and also doctoral programs. So it does go beyond undergrad. That's a difference between college and university. So for an associate's degree, this is great for people who want to join the workforce sooner, but still also want some additional job training. They might want a affordable degree, so that's why they work towards a associate's degree or a AA, as you'll hear people refer it to. People can start working right after their AA and then decide maybe later on they want to work towards their bachelor degree. So sometimes they do transfer to a college or a university to finish up their bachelor's after earning an AA. Bachelor's, this is really great for people who want to kind of follow the traditional education path, for people who want to gain a greater depth of knowledge for that field alongside general education courses. GE courses can often help students develop a very broad range of transferable skills, and sometimes employers do place a greater emphasis on bachelor degrees, so you will see that. Some jobs that require an associate's degree, so a computer network support specialist makes about $63,000 a year usually. Dental hygienist, you'll see about $78,000 is the average salary. Preschool teachers will usually earn about $43,000 and they just need a associate degree to start working. Radio cellular tower installers will see about $60,000 on average for their salary. Registered nurses, you only need an associate degree. You can earn about $73,000 per year as a registered nurse. And then there's a veterinary technician, and they usually earn about $43,000 a year. So keep in mind that there's a big range here in salaries for this degree. So really take into consideration what you're interested in, what you want to earn in the future, and how much time and effort and money you're willing to invest in your education. Some other examples include you can also work as a architectural drafter, a MRI technician, a physical therapy assistant, or a funeral home manager with an associate's degree. And remember, this is just an average salary. It doesn't really show you what the starting salary is, and it doesn't show you how much maximum you can make at this job. And it, again, will vary from state to state. So keep that in mind when you look at these salary averages. So jobs that require a bachelor's degree. So advertising, marketing managers will typically require a bachelor's, and they could potentially, have an average salary of $128,000 per year. Construction managers could earn over $100,000 a year. High school teachers will earn about $62,000 average per year. Human resource specialists will earn about $50,000 a year. Mechanical engineers can earn about $96,000 a year, and social workers can work about $60,000 a year. So just take a look at the associate's and bachelor degrees. The salary range is very wide, and just because you have a bachelor's doesn't guarantee that you will get paid more than someone who has a high school degree. It does depend on the field you go into. And when you're picking a future career, just know that salary doesn't really ultimately mean happiness all the time. Sometimes you can find a lot of fulfillment in the work that you do. Oftentimes, if you're a public servant, you will get paid less, but the work can be very rewarding because you truly make a big difference in for people's lives and for people who need it. Some other examples of jobs that require bachelor degrees are civil engineers, computer network architects, arts directors, industrial engineers, mechanical engineers. Priests actually need a bachelor's degree. Journalists can often also have a bachelor's degree. All right, so let's take a look at the advanced degrees now. So here are some jobs that require a postgraduate degree. A postgraduate degree means you have completed undergrad and now you're completing about 1 or more additional years of education. Usually advanced degrees can take anywhere between 1 to 7 years of additional study. So let's look at a master's degree. This means it's an academic degree designed to deepen career-oriented knowledge and skills, and typically will take about 1 to 2 additional years. For a doctorate degree, this could take about 4 to 6 additional years after your 4 years of college. So this degree often focuses heavily on research, analytical, and writing skills, and often it is heavily research-based. So some jobs that require master's degrees, so a chief executive officer or a CEO, often they'll make $160,000 a year. And again, sometimes CEOs don't actually have master's degrees. Sometimes they have just a high school degree or no degree at all. But again, remember when we talked about having more levels of education, you actually have greater networking opportunities. So that often connects you with people that can help you with your career and will pull you into different projects. And sometimes CEOs will have a master's degree because their network of people is greater and they have connections to help them, rise up into that position. Clinical therapists will often make about $75,000 a year. Educational administrators will have a master's degree as well, and they can make about $130,000 a year. Epidemiologists can make about $119,000 a year. Librarians need a master's degree. They actually are very skilled researchers and can help you with any question you have. They make about $78,000 a year, and nurse practitioners can make about $137,000 a year. So NPs are a higher level of nurse. Just keep that in mind. NPs are nurses with advanced clinical education and training, and often share many duties with doctors, and that's why you see their salary is significantly higher than other nurses. Okay. And some other examples can also include speech pathologists, genetic counselors, marriage and family therapists, occupational therapists, all require a master's degree. And even if your job doesn't require a master's degree, oftentimes there is additional pay or additional stipends associated with that degree. So for example, many teachers have a additional master's degree stipend. So they are paid an additional like about $500 to almost $1,000 a year because they have a master's degree. So that's something that is very common practice. All right, jobs that require a doctorate degree. So dentists need a doctorate. Lawyers also need a doctorate. They make about $95,000. Dentists, they can make $237,000. Pharmacists, they can make $117,000. Physicians, so a doctor, like a general practitioner, can make about $240,000 a year. A professor can make about $92,000 a year. A veterinarian can make over $100,000 a year. And again, these are all jobs that require a doctorate degree. Doctors actually make a very wide range of salaries. So depending on your specialty, you could make up to $400,000 a year. Right here, I've only listed a physician, so like a general practitioner, a family doctor. But if you specialize in something, for example, if you're a cardiologist, if you're a heart surgeon, if you're a plastic surgeon, even if you are a specialist in if you're a neonatologist, you're operating on tiny little babies, you can make up to $400,000 a year. So each specialty will have different average salaries. So just keep that in mind. Doctors typically study 4 more years in medical school, and then they need to participate in a residency program, which takes about 3 years. However, if you go into a specialty, so for example, if you are a surgeon, if you're a brain surgeon, if you're a plastic surgeon, even, you could be required to take additional years in your residency program. You could take additional years to really work on a specialty then after those years. So just keep that in mind. The additional pay does come with additional education, additional time, and additional tuition costs. So just keep that in mind. And also a little note on professors. Community college professors actually only require a master's degree. 4-year college and university professors do require a doctorate degree. Some other examples for jobs that require doctorate degrees are chiropractors, research scientists, psychiatrists, ophthalmologists, orthodontists, all require doctorate degrees. So we kind of went very quickly over all the different careers and degrees you could have. Some things to consider. What type of career do you actually want? When do you want to start working? Do you want to start right after high school? Do you want to start 2 years, 4 years, 7 years after high school? Does the higher degree mean that you will get paid more? So as you can see, we went through some examples. Not every higher degree led to a higher paying job. So just think of the career you want, how much education is required to enter that career, and whether all of that is worth it for you, monetarily speaking. What are your current finances like? So can you take out those extra student loans? How much debt are you willing to take on to pursue your career? And also, how long do you want to stay in school for? We're coming to the end of high school. So after high school, how many more additional years do you want to study? So remember that one degree program is not better than the other. One type of degree is not better than the other. Each person is different and their needs are different. So really determine the career you want. Think about when you want to start working. Consider your current finances, because that will play a huge role in what you decide. And just consider how much longer you want to study for. And if you're studying something that you're passionate about, does that change how long you're willing to study? While more education usually does mean higher salary, not everyone can take on that much debt, and not everyone can stay in school for that much longer. Life events sometimes get in the way of your education, so keep that in mind. Sometimes the higher salary is not enough to offset the cost of a higher degree, so these are all things you should take into consideration. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to your high school counselor. They are a wealth of knowledge and are willing to help you navigate all of this and answer all your questions. So thank you so much for taking part in this Workplace Readiness Week. I hope you enjoyed all the videos. And again, reach out to the high school team if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much.